Before we get into this special weekend edition of Just the Truth, let me tell you about the latest special from Michael and Dell at MyPillow. The standard MyPillow, normally $49.98 for a limited time only, just $14.88 with promo code Joey. Go to MyPillow.com, click on the radio listener specials, and see all the specials. There's a limited quantity of just 10 at this special price. That's $14.88 with promo code Joey. And one more thing, we know MyPillow products come with a 10-year warranty, but MyPillow has just announced that they're extending their 60-day money-back guarantee. That's right. Orders placed between now and December 25th will have their 60-day money-back guarantee extended through March the 1st, 2025. Thanks for joining me in the PhD Weight Loss Studio. To lose weight for the last time, visit myphdweightloss.com. February is recognized as Black History Month. You may ask, well, why February? February 1st, 1865 is when President Abraham Lincoln signed the 13th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, which outlawed slavery. And we also celebrate the birthdays of Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass, two significant figures in Black American history. Joining me on the guest line today, my friend J.R. in Westminster. J.R., how are you, sir?
I'm doing fine, Joey, and yourself.
I'm wonderful. It's good to hear your voice, my friend.
Right. Well, listen, it's good to be talking with you. We go back a ways, and I was just remembering today, oh gosh, when I moved to South Carolina in 2000, and an afternoon talk show, there was a young man by the name of Joey Hudson, and co-hosting the Joey and Martine show. So you've been at this a while, Joey.
Well, now I'm not sure if that's a compliment or if you're calling me old.
No, I'm not calling you. Listen, no, I'm actually probably a little older than you are. But no, but you got some experience in your voice. You have been a voice of conservatism in this area and across the country for a long time, and it's greatly appreciaed. And over the years, and we've had some very good talks and conversations, which has grown into a very good friendship, and I just appreciate it, and I appreciate this time.
Yeah, well, and look, there have been many times over the years that JR from Westminster has been a big part of that. I mean, you've called in, we've talked a lot on air. You followed me around different places. Remember when we did the show from Toccoa?
We were in Toccoa, Georgia.
Yep.
And that was, oh my gosh, that was it was a runoff during the runoff election in the state of Georgia when
for the U.S.
Walker
Senate
was running against. Yeah, absolutely, he was running against Raphael Warnock.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
I hope
and that was our second attempt because I had planned to do the show in Toccoa, and that was the beginning of COVID. And so the first time I attempted to do the show over there, I went over and checked things out, and my buddy Dennis over there, who owns a little restaurant there in Toccoa, we're going to do it at his restaurant coffee shop. And I got home, and my wife had COVID. And so then I couldn't go back out. Those were those early days when, if you were exposed to COVID, you couldn't go anywhere. So I was confined to my home studio for a while there. But anyway, we've shared some great experiences over the years, JR, and
we have.
And I can always have just a frank, honest conversation with you. And we're talking about Black History Month. As a Black conservative, tell me, what is your take on Black History Month?
Well, and when I go back, I'm old enough. I mean, I'm born in the 50s, so I'm old enough to remember when this particular, what they, I guess, refer to as a holiday, when I was in school, it didn't come about. It wasn't really recognized until the early 70s. So I had gone through school for quite a few years, and there was, never any mention of that, never any celebration of it. But as a whole, Joey, I think I've told you before that I just see Black history or American history as part of the fabric of American history, period. And whatever bad, whatever good, has been a part of the process of the founding of this country and the growth of this country. And so many people have made contributions to this nation, and many of those contributions include African Americans as well. So nothing to be specifically highlighted, but it's this diverse tapestry of the United States of America includes us all. And so no, I just see Black history as a part of American history.
Yeah, we've all built the country together. Is kind of what you're saying here. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. JR, do you believe we still have a major issue with racism?
Personally?
Yes.
No, I don't. I don't. I was born in Ohio. I've lived in Georgia. I currently, of course, now live in Westminster, South Carolina. I've been to every state, literally every state in the Southeast. I've traveled to probably 2/3 or three-fourths of the states here in the lower 48. And in all honesty, I cannot say, with any surety that there is a race problem. I mean, I'm not the way that media and politicians would like, to pose it in their narratives because they have an agenda, but absolutely not. But human beings are human beings, and people may have some prejudices and some biases, but no, I don't. I don't personally. I don't see that.
Yeah.
I don't see it.
Yeah. As a Black American, and by the way, do you prefer being called Black or African American?
I'm just an American.
You're an American. See, that's the kind of attitude I love, because that's what we are. First and foremost, we're Americans. And if we could all have that attitude, we'd be okay, wouldn't we?
Yeah, you better believe it. And but it's isn't it interesting that the whole concept or the idea, probably especially since Donald Trump was elected in 2016, anytime you would mention, sort of the nation or an idea of nationalism, it was something that really you saw a lot of resistance when, and isn't it interesting? Like I said, there was a time, when nationalism, there was a pride in being an American, in being, in nation, the nation of the United States. But then somehow, that whole concept and an idea was hijacked. And then there were people that, especially when it came to any agenda with minorities, that they had to push away from that because they wanted to keep a focus. Had to keep a focus on African Americans. You have to keep a focus on Hispanics or Latinos. You have to keep, but it was always with, their oppression, with their plight, with their victimization, and not their achievements, not their accomplishments, but it was always with so to keep people divided, you have to fight that idea of nationalism. And so to the point, if you address me, I am I'm an American. I'm an American who is Christian and conservative.
Yep. Well, JR, you're a good friend, and here's to American History Month.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Think, Here's a little known history fact. If you look in the state of South Carolina, there was a gentleman by the name of Robert Smalls, who was, and people can Google it or DuckDuckGo or whatever search engine you want to use. Robert Smalls in South Carolina was a former slave. And the long and the short of it is he is attributed with assisting or either founding the Republican Party in the state of South Carolina.
Yeah.
And so that's, in the state of South Carolina. And then he also, Robert Smalls also became a state representative. In 1870, a man by the name of Joseph Rainey was the first black elected to the United States House of Representatives. And so South Carolina, we were the first to succeed, but we were also the first to elect an African American to the United States House of Representatives, after the war.
Yeah.
So little things like that, and then as I said, he made tremendous strides,
Yeah.
Joey.
Yeah. Well, JR, it's always a pleasure talking with you. And again, I've appreciated our friendship over the years, and here's to many more to come.
Absolutely. We still have a lot of, we've accomplished a lot, and we have a lot of work to do still, because even as we see now,
Yep.
with President Trump election in 2024, liberals, leftists, Democrats, they're not going down
Yep.
without a fight. They're still kicking and screaming.
That is for sure. JR, appreciate your time today.
Thank you so much, Joey. Always.
Sure thing. Continuing today's show, across the country, we're seeing old, inactive rail lines finding a new purpose, being used as walking and biking trails. We've seen the great success of the Swamp Rabbit Trail in Greenville, the Doodle Trail in Pickens, and now northern Spartanburg County has the opportunity to create a beautiful new trail along the historic Saluda Grade Rail line, passing through the northern part of South Carolina and into North Carolina. On our guest line today is Laura Ringo, Executive Director of PAL. Laura, welcome. How are you?
Thank you for having me, Joey. I'm so glad to be here. It's currently a beautiful day in February, so great day to get outside.
It'd be a great day to be walking on the trail, wouldn't it?
That's exactly right.
Before we get into talking about the Saluda Grade Trail, talk with us about PAL and what you guys do.
Absolutely. And if anybody's interested in more information, they can find us at palspartanburg.org. We're a nonprofit based in Spartanburg County. We also do work broader across the region in certain instances, but really focused on active living and healthy eating. And so we, on the healthy eating side, we're focused primarily on working with local farmers and trying to get local produce more available in our community. Right now, we're working with 40 local farmers. We have an online site where people can go and order from any of the farmers and then get everything they order as one bundle. And so that's one thing we're doing to really try to support the agricultural community as well as push healthy, local, nutritious food. And then on the active living side, we do a lot of events that promote an active and healthy community. And we're also building out a 55-mile urban trail network called the Daniel Morgan Trail System. So there's been lots of smaller segments of trail. We're putting all those together into one comprehensive network. And then that led us to the Saluda Grade project.
Yeah. With me today, Laura Ringo, Executive Director of PAL. And, Laura, I think you and I are going to have to just schedule some time in the future and talk more about PAL. You guys have a lot going on over there. I love the support of local farmers. So let's jump over to the Saluda Grade Trail project. Let's just start at the beginning. How did this all start?
So as I mentioned, we are building out an urban trail network, and one of the places we had a trail segment was at the Drayton Mills redevelopment. So not far from downtown Spartanburg, off of Pine Street, Isom, Drayton Avenue, there is an old mill that was redeveloped. And as part of that, there are two trail segments, the Upper Drayton Trail and the Lower Drayton Trail. And we needed to get under a Norfolk Southern train trestle as part of the trail development over there. It took us 6 years to get permission to go under the trestle, but completed that project and built a great relationship with the real estate division at Norfolk Southern. And so heard from them that Norfolk Southern was willing to sell what they call the W line. And so initially they were really talking about just north of Campobello up to Saluda and Zirconia. But we worked with them and they were willing to sell us basically starting just south of Inman and then going north. And so it's been a long process even just to get to the point where we are right now.
Yeah. Laura, this is a big project, and I know there are a lot of different people involved. As you mentioned, your organization, PAL, is, but you have other partners as well, right?
That's right. We have two other great partners, official partners, and then a lot of really important community partners. So the other nonprofits involved are Conserving Carolina. They are a land trust up in North Carolina, and then Upstate Forever, which is a land trust focused on the upstate of South Carolina. And so the three of us together are building out this project. Yeah.
Laura Ringo with me today. For additional information on the Saluda Grade Trail, just go to saludagradetrail.org, saludagradetrail.org. They have a great website, and you can see who's involved and sort of the vision for this. All right, so Laura, these types of projects cost money. That little thing, the money gets involved sometimes and can be the roadblock. But you guys, you're pretty close, right?
That's right. We have, so like you said, it's an expensive project. So we are buying the full corridor for just over $31.5 million. It's a lot of money. But all but $750,000 has been secured. We have a request in for that final $750,000. We're hopeful that's going to come through. We will know in March whether or not we get that. And we've already got some strategies outlined for other options if that doesn't pan out. But we are confident that we're going to get this thing acquired by July.
Yeah. If someone is listening today, is it safe to assume that someone could donate money?
Absolutely. If they go to saludagradetrail.org, there is a way to donate, and you can either donate just generally to the project, or you can donate to the South Carolina side or the North Carolina side, and we would certainly be very grateful for any and all of the community support we get.
Yeah. Laura Ringo is with me today. We're talking about the Saluda Grade Trail. It's just an exciting project that will affect primarily the northern part of Spartanburg into North Carolina. Now, we talked about what the trail is going to cost, but there is a huge economic impact that it could have on those areas that it passes through. Give us an idea of how it can potentially change some of those areas.
Yeah, we really think this is going to be transformational for the small communities that are along the corridor, and those communities have been tremendous partners in this project already, and we're so excited about those relationships. But the first year the trail is open, the report from Clemson says there will be 125,000 users who will come down the trail. And we hope those people stop in Landrum and have lunch, or have coffee in Landrum and lunch in Inman, and they spend their dollars in these communities with the small businesses that are along the corridor. There's already been lots of stories about real estate, people being interested in real estate along the corridor and purchasing it with the intent of opening a small business to both support the visitors' experience, but also, of course, to support these communities. And so that's one piece, is the tourism piece, and the small businesses really, we hope, thriving. Another piece is we're starting to see, it's kind of coined as soft mobility, but Time Bicycle, which is a really large manufacturer of high-end bikes, has located their manufacturing on the Saluda Grade corridor in Landrum. They brought with them Boyd Cycling, which is another company that does pedals, or rims, and then Munich Composites. And then I think that there are others that are interested. So we hope that this drives jobs for the people that live in the area and also supports these small businesses.
Yeah, well, we've seen this happen in other areas. As I mentioned earlier, I've had personal experience with the Swamp Rabbit Trail in Greenville, and it has really transformed the whole area from start to finish. I particularly know how it has changed the town of Travelers Rest to the better, but everything in between, because, as you said, people want to stop along the way and you know, have some iced tea or a cup of coffee or eat lunch. And so we've had all these businesses along the way to spring up as a result of the Swamp Rabbit Trail. And there are people who are traveling from all around the country to come to the Swamp Rabbit Trail.
I think the Swamp Rabbit Trail in Greenville is a tremendous example of what this trail could mean for our region. I think there's some added kind of additions to this trail, which will make it interesting, and maybe a reason somebody would see both the Swamp Rabbit Trail and this one. You know, you've got that steep grade, which was the steepest intercontinental railroad, and that's a huge wow. And then you've got just the views, the natural landscape. All of that is certainly breathtaking and will create an incredible user experience and really introduce so many visitors to the upstate of South Carolina.
Yeah, well, that whole area is just beautiful anyway. I mean, you know, there's my wife and I quite often will just spend the day in Landrum or some, you know, going up into Tryon through there, and it's just beautiful in itself. And so to add a walking trail and a bike trail to that that mix is just a very exciting project for sure. So talk with us a bit, Laura, about the timeline. So let's assume that you get the remaining portion of the funding. What's next?
Yeah, so we have to, by contract with the railroad, acquire the line by July, which we expect to do. And then we will start on the South Carolina side. We had some, Senator Graham helped us secure some funding. And so we will start on engineering and design for the South Carolina portion. That will do a couple of things. First, it will let us really speak to like what this trail is going to look like and be able to answer some questions that people who live along the corridor have. And so we're looking forward to those conversations. It will also give us a price to construct the trail. And then, like you mentioned earlier, money. It's going to come down to how much money we can raise and what that's really going to look like to get the project implemented.
Yeah. Any idea of what the final cost will be for the construction roll? Are the rails still there, or will that have to be removed?
They are still there. So we are buying the corridor as is.
Okay.
So we will get the rails, the other track material, all the pieces. So we had a feasibility study done, and that report is on that Saluda Grade Trail website. If anybody is interested in more detail, it's a really great and thorough report, but it includes some cost estimates, and they vary anywhere from just over $1 million per mile upward to $3+ million. And the reason there's such a range is because it depends on what the design looks like. An 8-foot trail on a really steep part of the corridor is going to be one price, and a flat, just putting asphalt down and being able to, you know, not have to do a lot of grading, that's a much easier project. So or easier mile or section. So it's really going to come down to what design looks like, what are the different factors in each area.
Yeah. Laura Ringo with me as our guest today. I would assume that there's potentially an opportunity for maybe some naming rights for someone, some generous donor.
Absolutely. We would love to work with donors in helping make this project a reality. And certainly we'll have lots of different ways to recognize those people who contribute from any range amounts, because every bit of it will help make this project a reality. Yeah,
I know the Swamp Rabbit Trail is known as the Prisma Health Swamp Rabbit Trail because of Prisma's partnership there. And so maybe there's someone listening to us today, Laura, that really wants to step in a big way and be a big part of the next phase of this project. It is very exciting. As far as the municipalities that it passes through on the South Carolina side, I know Campobella and Inman, Landrum, over the last few months, I've had the opportunity to speak with the mayors. They're very excited about this. Are you getting pretty much support from all the people in that area?
I think we're getting support from most of the people in the area. I think generally the folks we're working with are positive, and we're excited about that. The towns, their councils, they are excited. Most of the property owners are excited. I think there's some that still have some questions that they want answered about how their property will be impacted, what that will mean and look like for them. And so we certainly understand that there are questions, and we will get to those, and we will work with the property owners. We just don't have enough information yet. We are still in the process of getting the survey done and some things that will help inform those conversations.
Yeah. Laura, it's been a pleasure. I appreciate your time and I applaud what you guys are doing because, again, it's going to really have an impact and a good impact all along the way. I'm just excited about when you get to the point that we can do a ribbon cutting and we can maybe even do the show out there one Saturday for the ribbon cutting and get things operational.
Well, I can't wait to go for a walk out there with you and talk about it. And thank you for having me. And I'd love to come back at some point and tell you more about PAL, and I appreciate you helping us get the word out. Sure thing.
Well, we'll definitely visit with you again about PAL very soon. Laura Ringo, thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
Continuing today's show, I had a chance to attend the Greenville Police Foundation's Officer Appreciation Luncheon, and boy, what a great experience. The Greenville Police Foundation recognizes and supports the men and women who protect the Greenville community, and this week's lunch meeting was a chance for the community to show just how much we appreciate what they do in keeping our community safe. Joining me today, Tim Curran, the president of the board of the Greenville Police Foundation. Tim, welcome. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Sure thing. Well, look, I appreciate what you do. Let's just, why don't you start with your elevator speech about the Greenville Police Foundation?
Well, what I like to tell people is, really that the Greenville Police Foundation was started about 10 years ago, and it was born out of a desire to not just recognize the wonderful men and women of the Greenville Police Department that work on our behalf, but also support the department any way they ask us to, quite frankly, and maybe even more importantly, support the officers directly if they ever need our help. And, Lord knows everyone needs some help periodically, whether you're a police officer or not. So we wanted to be there for the people themselves who serve as officers.
Yeah. If you would, give us a little history about the Greenville Police Foundation and maybe even some examples of some of the ways that you can help the local police officers.
For the prior 8 or 9 years before I got on the board, a lot of what the board did was a lot of recognition and really being available to the police department for items that may not be covered by the typical annual budget. For instance, a few years back, Within the home office, there was a kitchenette where the officers would, relax and have lunch, and it really needed to be updated. So the Police Foundation, which, by the way, is a charity, a 501c3 charity, they stepped in and said, "Hey, let us take the cost of updating that kitchen and helping out." When the police department said we want to recognize some officers that have been working hard, they said, we'd like to buy them some, I believe they're called Kanga coolers, and we said, hey, let us absorb that cost. We don't want that to come out of y'all's pockets. Let us take care of that. But again, more importantly is being there for the officers. One of the officers a few years back went on vacation, and while he was gone, I believe there's some sort of electrical issue, and his house quite literally burned to the ground. And
Wow.
We immediately stepped in and said, hey, you're going to need to buy furniture. You need food right away. We immediately purchased gift cards so they could go to Target and grocery store. We said, when you need furniture, let us know. Let us absorb that financial cost that inevitably they're going to be hit with. So that's just a few of the examples. And, I said that's really what it was for the first 8 or 9 years before I got on the board. And now I'm this, Joey, this is just my personality. I got on the board and became president, and I said, you know what? I've always believed in go big or go home. So let's do even more.
Yep. Tim Curran with me today. He's president of the Greenville Police Foundation's board of directors. Let's talk a bit about some of your goals, and I know that obviously the purpose is to raise money to assist police officers with the Greenville Police Department. Do you typically have a certain amount each year that you try to raise? And if a police officer is needing help, how do y'all know about that? How is someone particularly maybe suggested for assistance?
That's a great question. I'll start with the second first. We've got a great relationship with Chief Howie Thompson. He's just not only a wonderful person, but we think he's just doing a fantastic job as the chief of the GPD. We've been staying in touch with Shannon Laverin, the city manager, and we've gone to them and just told them, say, look, anything comes up. It doesn't matter whether it's out of the ordinary. Just come to us and see if we can help. So typically the way that this works is we will get a call or an email from the chief, and he'll say, hey, you may or may not know this, but something has happened, and we need your help. I'll give you a good example. About 7-8 months ago, there was an officer who he was in a struggle with a number of other officers trying to apprehend a sounded like pretty violent suspect, and he got hurt and literally lost the use of his left arm and went out on disability. And once you go out on disability, not only are you not getting full salary, but you're not able to work these side jobs. And the chief said, hey, this he's got a wife turns out she's actually an officer as well. They've got a son at home, a young son that they're raising, and they're going to have a tough time financially. And we said, okay, let us step in. And we used some of the money that we had raised to help this officer. We passed on the money to the officer so that, and this was a couple of different payments to help with their everyday expenses, which were now, no fault of his own, were struggled to achieve because, again, he was working on our behalf to apprehend a suspect and he got hurt. So.
Yep. Tim Curran with me with the Greenville Police Foundation. If you'd like additional information and maybe even make a donation or see how you can help, go to greenvillepolicefoundation.org, greenvillepolicefoundation.org. You can also find them on Facebook as well. Tim, these men and women, they put on a uniform every day, and they allow us to sleep better at night, knowing that they're keeping the community safe. And when I see organizations like yours who just step up to try to help them, to let them know that we appreciate them, and I just really enjoyed being at the luncheon and seeing the smiles on their face, those that you recognize. We really do. We, as a community, we need to show them the support, don't we?
We really do, and I think it's even more important now. Look, I've always been, I kid around, I'm a reformed lawyer, but ever since I went to law school, 25, 30 years ago, I've had just a great appreciation, not only for the law, but the people that help enforce those laws, because civil society simply doesn't exist unless the rules that we all create are enforced. And so I've always had a deep appreciation for the people that, help keep the community safe, help keep civil society as is. And what was really frustrating for me, Joey, quite frankly, is, this seems to have started 5, 6, 7 years ago, where I think the best way I can put it is a lot of people took their ideological frustrations out on the police force throughout the nation. And it was really disappointing to see not only how, and this is my opinion, not only how a lot of these people didn't appreciate the police departments around the country, but kind of disparaged a lot of the officers. And that's where I said, this just simply isn't right. These are good people. These are, as I like to say, they're just like us. They're husbands and wives. They're mothers and fathers. There are sons and daughters out there, and they're just working on our behalf to, again, keep the community safe and enforce those rules that are out there. Somebody said, well, what if I don't like the rules? I go, well, and then change the law, change the rule, but you don't shoot the messenger. And these officers, I just think, are deeply underappreciated for the job that they do. And again, that's where we just go, you know what? Not only do they deserve our respect, but as people, they need our support too.
Exactly. Tim Curran, thank you for what you do. Appreciate the Greenville Police Foundation. I enjoyed being with you for your lunch recently. Again, GreenvillePoliceFoundation.org is where you can go find out additional information, how you can help, and make a generous donation as well. Tim, have a great day.
Thanks so much, Joey. You take care.
That's it for this special weekend edition of Just the Truth. Thanks for joining me in the PhD Weight Loss Studios. To lose weight for the last time, visit myphdweightloss.com. If you haven't joined my mailing list yet, visit my website, joeyhudson.com. Click on the Connect with Joey button so that you can receive our emails and the most up-to-date news. Also, join me on my YouTube channel. Be sure and like, comment, and subscribe. Just search for Joey Hudson. As always, thanks for spending a few minutes of your day with me. Do me a favor and forward this episode to a few friends. Just click on the share button and send to your contacts. We need to build an army of conservatives to win our country back, and we can do that by continuing to share the truth with our friends and family. Keep those comments coming via the Firmin Ford text line 864-477-JOEY. Email to joey@joeyhudson.com, and I love your messages on the MyPillow message line. Again, that's 864-477-JOEY, 864-477-5639. Be sure and take advantage of the MyPillow special, just $14.88 on the standard MyPillows when you use promo code Joey. Order online at mypillow.com or call 800-893-4053. We're back again tomorrow and hope you'll plan to join us. Until then, remember, God's got this. He's still in control.